Welcome to another episode of We Grwn.
Question mark?
I'm Sean,
I'm Jasmine.
I'm Jess.
And I'm Maya.
and as you know, this is our guest star Choose Your Own Adventure series. So,
Woo, woo, woo.
like I said, welcome back, guys. Welcome back. Let's get this ball rolling. So,
Mhm.
the question of the day, always the question of the day. First things first. What had you feeling grown?
We're throwing it out to everybody this time.
Yeah, I guess I can start. We talked about this before, but I had to go to the car dealer and act like my mother. And essentially, the dealer didn't do what they had to do and send the paperwork to the lender.
Mm.
So I had to go up there and say, it's a week and a half later. What's going on? He was like, oh, yeah, well, we'll get it done. Whatever. The guy I normally work with and the lady, she wasn't there. So I talked to somebody else. I was like, okay, well, I'm coming back up here tomorrow if it's not done. So, thank you. Tomorrow before the banks close. I appreciate it. And I was like, oh, God, here I am sounding like my mom. Like, I always be like, Mom, be easy. Like, take it easy.
You can't be easy on these
And-
people, man.
Nah, man.
Yeah, but I had to be I was like, come on now. Like, come on. Let's make this easy for all of us. So I don't have to come
Mhm.
back up here and really be my mother because no one wants that. Or bring my mother. So.
I would
That's
have
real.
folded like a napkin.
It's a podcast, it's a video, and more.
Okay.
I am not. Those are not my situations. Like, I'd be like, John. John, like, if it comes to anything like that, dealing with people, conflict stuff, like, oh, we got to cancel our internet, John. Because I would get off the phone and I'd be like, so we got 3 more packages.
That makes
Like-
more sense.
Absolutely. I'd be like, mm-mm.
And I be getting mad at my husband when he be on the phone. I'd be like, talk to him more stern.
Nope.
Matter. Like, tell him.
Yeah,
My
but
He just
husband
be
is
like,
getting good though, because he's watched me and seen like the things that I can get. And
Yeah.
he's like, I'm gonna do it. So we had a tent that messed up, and he bought insurance for it. And they were like, "Oh, it's not covered." I said, "Email them again." And he was like, "How does this look?" I'm like, "Perfect, send
there
it."
you go.
And then he got a new tent back, and he got the money back for the insurance. And I
As
was
he
like, "You
should.
see, when you speak, people give you things."
Yes.
And so he's like, "Oh yeah, I'm on this now."
yes.
He's on that joint. now.
Yes.
It's hard. Like, it's hard when you're not used to it. Because I
Yeah.
normally don't do that. I'll call my mom, like, Mom, like, I have an issue. I need you to come up here. But this my money.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Do what you need to do, please. So I
Yeah.
don't have to come back up here.
Yeah, I'd
See,
be
I feel like I
first
do
one
it
to
at work so much that
Not
when I
the
get
excuses.
home, I'm like, I can't do this.
You
no
think
more.
John isn't doing it?
No, John, don't do that at work.
Mm.
John develop
He's
at
not
work.
here, so
John
we can't
sit
talk
down
to
at
him.
his computer and he develop. He don't gotta talk to nobody and he sit there. And then we come home, I'll be like, I'm so dead from talking to all these people. Oh no, we have to call someone.
Oh, I be calling. I called.
We know.
My daughter is about to turn 4, right? She should be starting kindergarten next year. I called them people. I said, "Excuse me, what do I need to do to register my kid for kindergarten next year?" They said, "Ma'am, the school year just started for the kids for this year, and it's way too early to register." I said, "Oh, my bad. Like, this is my first baby. I'm just asking. Like, I just want to know. I want to make sure she get into school." She was like, "Well, call us in May." Why am I 6 months early? I was like, I still had to ask. I didn't know. I don't know.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
I might be more than 6 months early, but y'all get it. Like, I was like, and she was
That's-
like, we actually don't get all the information till later in the year, so it's nothing I can really do for you right now. I was like, okay, I'm gonna call back. But also, y'all should just have sent out letters.
Yes.
Like, once kids start turning, maybe they do that actually. I might just
Maybe
be
you're just
really,
early.
I'm just really early. They might do that. So
They
let me see.
literally
We'll see.
started
When
the
the
school
baby's
year.
born, they just send it out. Like, here you go for the early
It would be
one.
helpful. It would be
Yeah.
helpful, especially
Yeah.
because her birthday is like right after the cutoff date.
Mm.
And I don't want them to be like, "Oh, well, she registered late and we already are full for this." Because I know for pre-K, they cut it off if you aren't, first of all, if you make too much money and if your kid is a certain age. So they use both of those criteria. So I was like, I'm not going to try to get into pre-K because they're not going to let us in.
in.
Yes, because pre-K is like the way for kids to get out of daycare.
What?
Mm.
So they use PreK and let you. It's still basically daycare because a lot of PreKs are half a days. There's some that
What?
might be full days, but I think most of them are half days.
I
I
heard
did
that.
But it's
not
to
know
save money
that.
on
Mhm.
daycare, and they're like, you don't need to save no money.
How much
I mean,
money
and the
does
other
school
people are most
cost?
likely getting government assistance,
Yeah,
so
that's
it's
fair.
cheaper for the government
That's
to
fair.
put them in school versus keep giving them the vouchers for daycare.
That's
Mm.
fair. That makes sense.
I did not know any of that.
I didn't either. Child,
Girl, I
having a
mean,
kid.
I say, girl, I didn't either. I found out because my dad sent me the PreK stuff, and I was like, bet she want a PreK. Went on that joint. They were like, nah,
Not you though.
not everybody goes to PreK. I said,
Like, oh, that's
okay.
cute.
Yeah. So she didn't go to PreK. She's in a PreK program now, but I'm paying for that.
That's
Trifling.
oh gosh,
Right.
It's
kids.
trifling. And then the school, they have terrible reviews for her public school. But I'm like, do I keep paying for her to go to private school? Like, I can teach her at this age. So maybe save the money for private school for when I no longer can keep up. So that's my thought process. But we're going to see how kindergarten goes. And if it's just too bad, then I'll pull her out. But I did find them on Twitter. And their Twitter page looks very active and they look like they are taking care of the kids. Like maybe if I'm one of those parents that's involved, they'll treat my kid
PTA
good.
meetings.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm gonna be one of those parents.
Oh, we know.
I can see it there.
I see that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Y'all better treat my baby good. Cause even today, she had her little party at the school and the teacher gave her a present. Like all the
Aw.
teachers around the school were coming around. You know, y'all know my
Ye-
child.
she- yeah.
She Miss Popular.
She really
And
is.
I am not that type of person normally, but because of her, I kind of have to be because she's always telling our business anyway. So I'm automatically have to be like, oh yeah. Joyous told us y'all are doing this. I mean, yeah, yeah. But yeah. So it's like, Joy, I'm sleeping over at my Auntie Jess' house. Okay, these people don't know Auntie Jess, but actually they might. But
Was that the same place when I came with you to pick her up and she was
Yeah.
like, "This is my Auntie Jess. This is my Auntie Jess. Hey, this is my Auntie Jess. Auntie Jess is here."
literally everybody's like, so Auntie Jess.
"So I'm guessing you're Auntie Jess." I'm like, "Yes." Yeah.
No, that girl, she's a lot. But yeah, so I will be that parent at the PTA meetings, making sure that my kid is in the proper classes, put her in gifted and talented, because I don't want her falling behind.
That's
Yeah.
She's very, very bright. Very bright.
How you
Yeah.
feeling, Grwn?
Huh?
We're all gonna do it.
We are all gonna do it. Then I'll go after Jess.
Okay, passing the torch.
Wow.
It can't be your
What had
body.
me feeling grown?
There you go.
Y'all know I'm a plant zaddy, so
Not Zaddy.
plant zaddy. You can call me salt and pepper zaddy because people call me that.
No,
So-
they don't.
Yes, they do. They
Who's
they look
people?
at this gray hair
Exactly.
right here and they be like,
Not the one gray hair.
it's two, and they be like, okay, salt and pepper zaddy, and I'd be like, you know my name.
I'm like one person who said
Nobody.
That.
It's literally nobody. It's himself. He calls himself that.
My Instagram is rebranded.
Oh my god.
Then you know where to find me. But anyways, my plants. I killed one of them the other day, and I was real sad.
That's what had you feeling grown?
Yes, I killed one. But being a great plant daddy, I chopped that joint up and I put it in some water, and then it started to root again. And now I replanted it in growth, like a great plant zaddy. So
Not you killing it first though.
Right.
Yeah.
yeah, I killed. Yeah, I don't know what happened. I overwatered that joint, and I knew it. I knew it because I was keeping it in the bathroom. I was like, yeah. I was like, it's gonna be steamy in here. I was like, there we go. And then I dumped all this water in there, and I was looking at it's a glass bowl, and I was like, that looked like a lot of water, but can't do nothing now. And then I
Can't take
guess,
pour some out.
yeah, but then the dirt was but they're like, I was like, how does it? I tried, it didn't work. And then I feel like it being in the bathroom with all the steam. I was just like, this wasn't the move.
Yeah.
But I went and I bought a new like spray thing. So now it can like reach in there and then I can spray the dirt and stuff. Yeah. because I got it on Temu. I was real mad.
Oh my
I
god.
was like, yes. I bought this whole spray bottle. This had me feeling grown too, getting bamboozled by Temu. Bought this whole spray bottle. I was so pumped, like
Oh my
about to
God.
get this spray bottle.
Teamwork,
It
equal
got the
opportunity
thing.
bamboozler.
Yeah.
Yes. And I was like, oh, it come with the arm. It got the nozzle and all. I was so blown when that thing came, and it was just the nozzle. I was like,
That's what I was playing with last week.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you were. I was like, where's the can? Like, it didn't come with. the
They
can.
played
Rest of
you.
it. Where's the rest of it?
Yeah, and I was like, this don't say can. So I got a refund.
I know that's right.
I'm
Sounds
waiting
good.
for my Temu refund
out.
because I got a whole order and I haven't tried everything yet. And if you do a return, it's no longer free after the first one for each
Oh, so
order.
you gotta-
Yes, I'm like, let me wait to make sure the rest of this stuff is worth keeping.
Yeah, you
But
gotta
I
do
ordered
that.
a writing tablet for my kids. Why was it this big? I said they can write one letter on it, one letter at a time. What
Bruh.
wants to do with this?
That's why I have to keep the measuring tape anytime I'm shopping on there because they played me more than once on there like that, and I was like, nope. Y'all said how many centimeters? Oh wow!
Yeah, and they
you
be
really
funny.
blew this picture up to
They
make
be
it look
funny
like,
with that stuff because they'll put it next to something big and
Yes!
you're like, okay,
yeah.
that's what I want.
They be like zoom,
right size.
zoom.
Not the zoom. Yeah, I was looking at this one little thing. It was like a little astronaut, and I was like, "That's so cute. That's some decoration right there." And then I was like, after I looked at the measurements, I was like, "This thing is an inch."
Mhm,
I was
mhm,
like,
They'll change it to centimeters real quick so the
Oh,
number
yeah.
bigger.
mhm,
I was like, "What the? Where's it gonna go?"
I can only imagine.
mhm.
I was real sad. But that's what had me feeling grown. Me taking care of my plants like a good plant Zaddy.
Hmm.
Oh my god.
And salt and pepper Zaddy.
Did nobody call it? Did nobody
Can't
call
even
it?
see. I'm gonna try to zoom when I make my reel. It's gonna be like, you can't see it.
I don't see anything.
Like, it's right there. But anyway, bought
what
you some
happened for
time.
I guess this week, like, I had to do I'm being asked to come to meetings. And I don't think I've ever been in well, maybe once before, but like not like this, where they're like, "Oh, can you send us like your intro, like how you want to be introduced? Like send us your like bio so that we can introduce you." And I'm like, y'all gonna I have to give you a biography of myself? Like it's just
Ooh.
weird. Like have like you're a guest speaker. It's weird. It's just weird to me. So I'm just like, am I an adult? Like, and then even writing it out, I'm like, I kind of been doing a lot.
You don't got a
That's
bio already
crazy.
written?
No, because I've always just been in the background, or if I have a meeting, it's my meeting. So people are just like, oh, okay, yeah. Like it's always been very local, and like now the position I'm in, I'm like at a higher level, so I speak to like higher level people, and so I guess it's just weird to me. It's weird to me. Like I don't really notice it until there's moments like that, and so that was weird. Like the lady was like, "Oh, just make sure you give me your bio, and just also throw in a fact, like something like random about yourself that you want to share with everybody." So I'm like, okay, it's weird, but I liked it.
Shoot,
I'm
I
gonna keep
know when y'all
crafting it.
started, I sent that joint out right away. Like, this is me.
Yeah.
Y'all can learn all
He had
about
a
me
big
here.
old thing. He's like gave his whole description. It was like, oh, there's also a link, so you can click here and go read more of all of the other things that I've written. I was like, oh my god.
Yeah. I was like, here are all the articles I've ever
All the
written.
articles.
Here's my bio. Here's some
Wow.
fun facts about me if you're interested in this. So here you go.
I like
So-
that.
so-
I would not do that, but I like that.
But I'm always just prepared because I've been in situations where people have asked for that stuff, and I'm
Yeah.
like, here you go.
Yeah,
But
no,
then I
yeah.
update. I mean, like my bio is just like I worked on it. I did it when I was in college, and then I just like kept updating it. I'm like, it's easier for me to update it when I leave a job
That's fair.
once than like let me think about the past 15 years. Nah,
Interesting.
like let me just do that.
That's smart.
Yeah, that is smart.
I wouldn't do that. I don't do that. I'm always
Girl,
like
you've been there
scrambling.
for like a day.
No, I mean like in life. Like
Oh,
I would go to these little events at my in college. They were like, we need somebody who's in this program and we want you to speak, and you're they picked the black woman in cyber.
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
the things that are like
Twofer.
yeah, so
DEI.
I was like, okay, well, and then they'll be like, oh yeah, well, you gotta you have to say these things or you need to talk about yourself. Like, I don't know what to say. What do you want me to say?
Mhm.
Yeah.
This is coming from the same person that gave a whole speech at our graduation.
That I wrote that morning.
Talk about high
And I was
achiever.
stressed. I was so stressed out, right? Like reading that because I had wrote it that morning.
It made me cry.
Ball his little eyes out.
Surely did.
So it
Me-
was
Messed
cute.
up my whole speech.
It's like, oh.
Anyways,
Um,
you don't got a bio?
For who?
For
I don't.
you?
I feel like I don't have a need for it. The one conference I attended, I wasn't the main focus, so they were like, "And we have Moya here too. She's this, and
Don't
this."
say it like
Not
that.
you.
Well, I wasn't supposed to be. I wasn't supposed to talk, and so them even saying I was there was weird because I was like, "Don't put no spotlight on me. I'm not here. I'm just listening like the rest of y'all." But then I had to speak, and I was like, because people kept walking up to me afterwards, like, "Oh, you said this and you said that," and that wasn't what I went there to do. So
Mm.
like, I don't really want to be in this situation. I like background work.
I feel like that.
Yeah.
Internally, I prefer that, but like the nature of my work is not that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I do still get a mix, but I get that. Like, just leave me alone. Let me do my job. Like, I don't have to
Yeah.
be interfacing with people. Just let me be in my corner. Let me give you my deliverables. We keep it moving.
Yeah. Your position is more front facing because
Yeah.
you
Unfortunately.
have to juggle everybody. Mine is more so juggle the product, and if you need assistance, go get assistance.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I don't have to be the face of it.
Yeah.
True, not mine. Mine is just
You
straight
just
face
talk all day to people.
all day.
I couldn't
Long.
do. Let me not say I couldn't do that. I wouldn't enjoy that.
Me either.
I love it.
I know.
And then I get home and I'll be like, yeah.
So, are you introverted or are you extroverted?
I'm extroverted.
extrovert.
Yeah, you're
Very
extroverted.
extroverted. But extroverts need time to recuperate too.
Yeah.
Really? Mm.
Yes. I mean, especially if it came to like, I mean, I'm very extroverted, but then if it comes to dealing with conflict, then I'm about to be like,
He's a happy
Interesting.
extrovert.
yeah.
Mhm.
That's very
Like I deal with conflict at work, but I just don't prefer to deal with it outside of work. Like,
Only when you're paid to do it will you do it.
yeah.
makes sense.
I mean, like, cause at work when I'm dealing with conflict, I'm like, y'all gonna pay my people right. Like,
Period.
we gonna
Period.
like this is what we gonna do. At
Mhm.
home, it's like, I mean, well,
You did it. Okay.
Yes,
Well,
it
like,
is what it is. I
I
guess.
guess I'm paying for Hulu ads now. You got me.
I feel like that's so much smaller though, in comparison to what you be doing. The big things.
Mm-mm.
Like you're overpaying $1 every month, and you're like, well, I guess I'm overpaying.
Yeah,
Bruh, I laid out my bank one time for something like that. I was like, how dare y'all allow this company to charge me? And they're like, well, it was because I was like, mm-mm, mm-mm. According to my statements, this is not correct. So I need y'all to fix it.
Mhm.
And I'll wait.
Mm-mm.
Like, oh man, I love a good get to stand up for myself to a
That
company.
sounds
Yeah.
Eat it up.
torture.
What about if your food's wrong at a restaurant?
It's gonna be wrong.
Oh,
Whoa.
no. That's crazy.
No, that's
It's gonna
insane.
be wrong.
You're
If
paying.
John don't say something, it's gonna be wrong.
Yo, I'd be the main one to be
Like-
like, Ron, is it? Do you want to send it back?
This literally happened the other day. When I got my Starbucks, like I don't really go out much. So like I got Starbucks. I ordered my whatever. Give me oat milk. Blah 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 blah. So the lady passes it to me, and I'm like, cool. So I grabbed the cup, and I was just like, it's warm. And I was like, so I must have made a face. And the lady was like, what's wrong? And I was like, nothing. And she's
Not
like,
Sir.
nothing. She gave you the
Sir.
ultimate opportunity.
And she was like, something's wrong. What's wrong? I was like, well, I just kind of expected it to be cold. Like, it's iced. Like, I feel like in the picture it looks iced. And she was like, oh, I'll just make you a new one. And I was like, oh, you can
There
do
you
that?
go.
Simple.
And she was like, yeah, I can do that. And she was like, why don't you give this one to a friend? And I was
Aw.
like,
I know that's right.
oh.
Shout out to you,
And
man.
she was
Yeah,
like, I mean,
shout
I'll
out
just
to
throw it
you.
away anyway, so just take it to
Might as well
somebody.
take
And
it.
I was like, wow.
Act of kindness.
And I was like,
Yeah.
because I definitely was
easy it
about to
could
wait
be.
for this to cool down.
Yeah.
And I add some ice in the cafeteria.
And inconvenience yourself.
I
Mm-hmm.
mean, yeah.
I feel
That's
like
crazy.
I started. I want to say last year. I told myself. I actually wrote it down. Like one of my goals for that year was not accepting things that I didn't want, truly love, and truly love or was excited about, and just stop accepting whatever came and just be like, oh, okay. And so because I worked on that last year, like this year, I'm like really doubling down on it.
Mm.
And like you don't even have to do it. Like being assertive doesn't always mean like you have to do it in a rude way. It's just, saying and mentioning like, hey, no, I'm advocating for myself in the fact that this is not something that I wanted, or this is not up to the par or standards that my expectations were. So can we mitigate that situation so that I can have what I'm supposed to
Yeah.
have? And if we can't do that, then sounds like we need to part ways.
I can
Sounds
do
like I
it
need my money back.
for other people. But if
Mm.
it came for like to my stuff, I'd be like,
But that's crazy though.
Yeah,
like I
it's
feel
so
like if somebody
weird.
came back with something that and it wasn't like what John wanted, well, would I? I'm like, I'd be like, you sure it's not okay? Like, you sure it's not Asiago cheese?
Again.
Like one more, like let me see. But I could fight for that, and then it'd be like, oh, it's just the cheese that it's gonna be.
No, Desmond came. He's if his food's wrong, he'd be like, "That's fine. I'll just
Yeah.
take the cheese off." And he's lactose intolerant. No, give it to me. I will go. They will give you more. I will send food back in a heartbeat. You're gonna get my stuff right. Now, sometimes you gotta be careful. People play with your food, but in general, I'm paying for this.
I'd be like, I'm gonna take
Yeah.
them pickles off this time.
No,
Yeah.
I
you
think I
gonna do it
learned.
right.
Yeah.
I feel
Yeah.
like when you're talking to servers, they're not making the food. So if
Yeah.
you're nice to them, they'll just be like, okay, keep that and we'll bring you a new one.
Yeah.
Or do you want me to take that from you? And a lot of times I won't let them take it because sometimes they'll just like fix that plate.
Yeah.
Bring me a new plate. I don't want y'all messing with this and bringing it back.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't
So-
put your fingers all over it.
Yeah, because I've seen that where they'll be like, I didn't want cheese. And you
Yeah.
see that this the same sandwich. You just took the cheese
Cheese
off.
off, yes.
Like, don't play with me. I could have did that. I want a new sandwich. I want cheese touching it.
Yeah.
But yeah, stuff. I don't know. I think I talked about this in one of the episodes where I try to get my kids to do things like that because they will come and ask me for something, and I'm like, "This ain't my house. Go ask the owner.
Mm.
I want juice. What you telling me for? This not my house. Go ask the person for juice." So that they are getting used to
Mhm.
Asking
speak
for
up
what they
for
want.
yourself. If you
Yeah.
want something, go ask, and don't ask me. I'm not always gonna be there. So when I'm not there, I want you to speak up. Don't just be sitting here thirsty
Mm.
when you can just go ask and they'll give it to you.
Yeah. That's
So I don't know if they're good at it because I'm not there. I'm not there. So I guess I have to find out how to confirm that. But I think I don't know I don't think my son is good at it yet. Because he be coming home thirsty.
Baby.
Dog,
"I
dog,
need
dog.
water." I'm like, you ain't drink water today.
Aw. It's a life skill.
Yeah.
It's a life skill. It's hard.
Yeah.
But like, stop letting people play with your food and you don't send it back.
Or your services or your money.
Or your
Especially your
money.
money.
Literally anything. Stop letting play with you,
Anything.
period.
Mhm.
John is here.
But
He be helping.
Does he want to
But
be
yeah,
the
that's
one
the
doing
thing.
it
Does
all
he
the
want
time?
to do
Whole
all of it?
Conversation about this.
And what'd he say?
We have agreed that John does that.
okay, if it works,
Okay.
it works.
It worked. Yeah.
I mean, because then, like, usually, like, I'll be there, I'm on the phone, and then I'm like, hold on, pause. And I was like, all right, what do I say now? And then it's like, all right, hold on.
We've
let me
been
get
there,
back. And it's
yeah.
like,
Yeah.
all right, well.
So it's just
And then it's like-
easier.
And he's like, well, I could have just did it. I'm like, you could have just done it. And it would have went so much
But it's
faster.
good to
faster.
practice, though.
Boop.
Yeah.
It's good to practice. Because I don't like being the one always doing stuff. So my husband, he has practiced it. And there was a time where it was like mute. Am I saying this right? What am I supposed to be saying again? Do you understand what he's saying? Because I don't get it. Because they be trying to talk to you and confuse you.
Oh yeah, I can't stand that.
Like, no,
That's
this
why I
is
was
what they're
like-
saying. That's not what you want yet. Keep
Yeah.
talking.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's all. There's one area of one of our bills that I'm like, I'm gonna let you handle it, but I'm about 5 seconds away from calling them myself, and I don't care if they don't know that it's you or me, and I'm gonna fix it because I feel like they're doing that where they're like talking in circles
Yeah.
and they're not being truthful about what they're doing, and I'm like, nah. You're paying for a service. You're not getting the level of service that you deserve. Ergo, cut the service. Period. Show me the contract. Send me the contract. Or if you promise that you're going to change the price, send me it in writing. I don't want to hear nothing else until you send me it in writing while I'm on the phone right now. Right now. You pulled up my account. You know my email right now. I'm waiting.
Yeah.
Did you get it? Did you get it? I still haven't got it yet.
You sound like a black mother.
And that's the thing. I learned it from my mom. I honestly learned it from my mom. My mom was that person that was just like, oh, so y'all want to play with my money? Okay, we can get on a call right now and fix it. And sure enough, my mom has gotten so many of her bills down because she calls.
Yeah.
And I've started to do the same thing. Our internet bill, I was like, I don't know what y'all thought y'all were doing, adding on $20 extra. I know it's not even that high.
That's high. Shoot.
Take the $20 off. Exactly. I was like, take that $20 off. He was like, well, ma'am, it's your, figure it out. Figure it out. Because I'm not getting better service. And I actually can pull up all the times y'all had outages. So it sounds like, especially with me working from home, my time and my connectivity is my money. So if I'm not getting paid, even though I am, if I'm not getting paid, you all are not going to get fully paid. And you're definitely not going to get extra. So fix it. Sure enough, he brought my bill down. I don't know how he did, but he brought it
It
down.
don't matter how they do it. They did that for us too. I do not pay for a router because
I know that's right.
I need the router to get the internet. Why y'all charging me for the router? And if I want to buy my own, y'all are gonna be like, "Oh, we don't support your personal router," but I'm still paying.
Yeah.
So it needs to be included.
Yeah.
And it's included. I don't pay for that thing because people be like, "Well, how your bill should be this?" No, my bill is what it's supposed to be. I don't care what you pay. I know what I pay.
Exactly.
Don't be worried about me.
Don't be worried about
Mind your business.
Exactly. I don't be just accepting whatever price they give me. Y'all gonna bring it down.
I want the promotion forever. I don't care about that.
And that's what he put me on another promotion. Exactly.
Run it back. Run it back.
Yo, that man was really trying to tell me I can't do anything. I was like, no, there's something you can do.
There's
Because
always
I also can leave. And I really have no problem leaving because the company I switched from, I can switch right back and get a promotion. So what are y'all going to do? Sure enough, he's like, oh, I just found a promotion. Suddenly, magically. Oh, I'm sure. Yeah. Because I will cut it today.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So, speaking of
Advocate for yourself.
speaking of advocating, speaking up, some of these different things that we are learning, unlearning, maybe not unlearning in some of our cases. This
Okay,
episode, we want to talk about generational curses that we want to break and also things that we want to carry on.
Yeah.
I'm not starting. But I want to put that out there so that people understand what the topic is. I know we be rapping on
We
these
do a little bit.
Yeah.
choose your own adventure ones.
Right. I mean, how about our guest star?
Yeah, let's start
Oh
with
my
you, man.
gosh. I guess I'll start with one that I will continue on. Something that I'll instill in my children. I think the biggest thing that has got me to where I am, my mom, props to her. She's done everything with the help of my grandparents and my village on her own. And I guess it's twofold. That I can do absolutely anything in the world, no matter what it is. I called my mom just last week. I was talking to somebody about what I can and can't do. And my mom was like, you're letting a person who doesn't know you tell you about yourself.
Come on, mama.
She motivates me and pushes me to do so much. And I think some people don't have that.
Yeah.
They don't have that push that they need at home because it starts at home.
Yeah.
And I want to do that for my kids. I think it is twofold because in some aspects it makes me feel like I need to be doing it all. And even though I can, doesn't mean I should. It's a lesson I'm learning. But I just want to keep that going for my kids. I want them to know, no matter what anybody says, it's always possible. Always. No matter what. Even if you feel like there's roadblocks, sometimes you think they're there, they don't really exist. There is that hurdle is not real. It's something we make excuses and do all the things to make it seem like maybe I shouldn't do this. Maybe it's not a good idea. Like, I'm working full time. I'm going to school full time. To a lot of people, it's like, don't do that. And it feels like, don't do that. But it's possible. I can do it. I can succeed. And I will, because someone has told me I can't. So now I have to. But it is possible. Anything is possible. And that has propelled me in my career, in my personal life, and in academia. So it has to keep going.
Yeah, that's
I love
good.
that.
Mhm.
I was gonna say, Sean.
I have one. My dad has. I'm gonna do a what to keep. My dad has always been a proponent of. We didn't come to this life to suffer, and that's how I live life.
I know that's right.
I'm like, struggle? No, no, thank you. Hardship? Y'all can have that. I don't want it. And I think I may have already talked about it, but my dad is the type of person who will work any job to provide for his family, but he will also quit any job immediately. and so I've seen him work, stop working, but always still being able to provide because he's making sure he's saving or doing whatever he needs to do to be able to be like, I'm not about to let y'all stress me. I will quit. So when I got my first real job, maybe my second real job, because I had my second job, I was stressed, and I don't let people stress me because my daddy said he would take care of me. So why am I letting people stress me? And I told him about it, and he was like, quit. And I said, you are right. Like, why are we struggling in life? No one needs to struggle. We are in an okay place. And he's like, you're in school, you're doing this, you're doing that. Like, do the things you need to do and figure it out, like, from there. And I want my kids to know, do what you need to do, but also don't have people stressing you out. Don't be out here
Yes,
struggling,
that's
real.
stressing
Yeah.
for no reason when I got you. Like, even if I'm not going to be here forever, and that's what I'm trying to set up now, is they have nest eggs.
Mm-hmm.
I'd be looking at my kids' account sometimes, and I'm like, I could really use this. I could really use this. This money I could be spending.
Yeah.
Especially on these trips we try to take them on, but I'm not going to touch their money. Because when they get to a certain age and they're thinking about, I don't even know how I'm going to give them the money, but I'm like, I don't want them to feel ever that they have to do this and they have to struggle and they have to do these like odd jobs. Even though my dad did odd jobs, I don't want that life for my kids.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like, I want it to be set up the same way my dad set us up to coast a little bit. Let's live like the white people.
Bruh, I was about to say, these white people be having accounts for their kids. They be having all kinds of investments, so their kids don't really have to
Yeah.
experience struggle. So why can't we
If
if we
my
have
kid
the
want to take a
means?
gap year, here's your gap year money.
There you go.
Yes.
Do whatever you want with it.
The GoPro guy. That's literally how he not discovered, but how he came up with the GoPro. He was on a gap year kind of thing, and his parents paid for him to travel the world. And he was like, you know what would be great? A camera that I can put on like my surfboard while he's traveling the world on his parents' money that they gave to him to do this. So it's like, give them the opportunity.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Set them
Yeah.
up.
Mm-hmm. I love that.
Me too.
I think for me, I'll go with my dad. My dad, I actually used something my dad taught me today. We had like this little activity, and it required a compass. And so the lady asked me, like, do you know how to work a compass? I was like, yeah, my dad taught me. Like, I was never in Girl Scouts, Boy Scouts, none of that. Well, of course not Boy Scouts, but I never did any of those things. But my dad just taught me a lot of like just practical knowledge. And like I would say my dad never raised me as a girl or a boy. He was just like a
Raising
person.
child.
Yeah. Like, whatever you're interested in, let's explore that. So like, he loved RC cars. So I enjoyed RC cars. Then at a point I had this fascination with planes. So we would go to like the Air and Space Museum, and we would buy he bought like these air hogs. I don't know if people remember air hogs, but they were like the planes you'd pump full of air, and then you like spin them, and then you throw them. Like, I had
very old.
bruh. But
She looking like,
Older
what y'all
than me.
mean, pump?
that's crazy. Yikes. But I mean, my dad was just very much like, whatever you're interested in, dive in and explore it and see what you like about it, what you don't like about it. And it's okay to kind of be like, okay, I don't like it anymore. And again, with the practical knowledge, like a lot, because I was able to like explore so many things, I know a lot more about a lot of things. I won't say a lot that I know in depth, but I know enough that I can speak to it. I know enough that I can figure things out. Like, I feel like most of the stuff in our house, if something happens, I'm able to fix it. And I'm not worried about it. And I don't have to call anybody. Because in my mind, I feel like he has more of an engineer's mind and he never went to college. So like I have somewhat of an engineer's mind because of my dad. So like, for example, I've gotten into hydroponics and I've been doing research and I'm like, oh, I can build this myself. I don't have to buy an aero garden. I can literally build an aero garden. I just need a few like plumbing pieces and like a aquarium pump and just the right nutrients. And you just, some drills here and there. Like, I love being a tinkerer because my dad encouraged it as a kid. Like, if he was working on something, he would bring me in to, like, kind of see what he was working on or help him with it. So I really appreciated that he was teaching me practical knowledge, but also very affirming and encouraging of just my interests. So I think I would love to do the same thing for my kids. Like, instead of just, oh, go play, but like, oh, come on, come along with me and like, let's do this. Or, yes, observe me as I'm doing this and explaining it. So, yeah, I really love that.
That's cute.
I guess mine would probably be in the similar field like that. My parents really encourage creativity, obviously. But like, I mean, like my siblings, all of my siblings were all very creative people. I mean, so whether like, I don't think any of us can sing a lick, but we were never told like, don't be singing. Like, not in my house. Like we sang our butts off. We did art. We drew. We painted. Like those kind of things were always just encouraged, like to express yourself. And then in a previous episode, like I said, how, I mean, that's like a default thing for me. So I can like work through things. It's usually through expression, one way or another. But I would say that is probably the thing that I would like to make sure that I pass on. Just being able to freely express yourself in the way that you would like to. And being able to explore other ways to express yourself as well. Like you don't have to be like, I'm a big fan. You don't gotta be a good painter to enjoy painting. Like go out and paint. Like I have plenty of paint and sips where I'm like, what is this? Like, they on the wall. Like I don't care. Like I'm gonna go out and build this thing. Does it look great? Nope. Do I gotta start over? Yep. But that's still fine. Like that's part of it. It's just part of learning. It's part of expressing yourself. It's part of just expanding your mind. So probably that.
I love that.
Yeah. Did anybody's parents? I'm guessing not, but we're gonna see. Subscribe to either the gentle parenting style that you either want to keep going or not, or the more like the alternative.
We are millennials.
Girl, exactly. Gentle. What was gentle parenting?
That wasn't a thing back then.
That was not a thing. That was
definitely was not. That if you were gentle parenting, you had badass kids. That's really what it was. Like, that's what they say. That's what they say now.
I mean, and that's why I said, because like I have friends that are like, I would never like spank my child, or I'm gonna just make sure I'm gonna sit them down and I'm just gonna talk to them, and that works sometimes. You have to know your kid, but me, my mom whooped me, and I turned out perfectly fine. Okay,
I think that my dad did that. He never hit anybody. He never disciplined that way. Too. Yeah, he never disciplined that way, but it wasn't enough for me to notice. I got beat enough to know that
I ain't gonna do that again.
I could do stuff, and I think that might be the boldness I have with my dad. He ain't never.
What you gonna do? Beat me?
Exactly.
You ain't even do that before.
It's too late. When my mom passed, my dad would try to like talk to us and discipline us, and we'd be looking at him like, "You are not my mama." I don't know who you thought you was, but I don't know what he did. I don't know that he ever got a hold of that because we were older when she passed too, so it's hard to then try to be a disciplinarian. Yeah. So he's more of like he's like not our friend, but he's our dad, but he's like I don't even know how to describe him because he's still a parent. He still parented us in some way, however, however that was. But it just doesn't seem the same as the one that was doing the
Yeah.
disciplining, doing the like
Mhm.
teaching that you
Yeah.
remember.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Because he taught us a lot of things. He's the one who really had us in church and making sure that we studied the Bible and making sure that we were good people, and then also teaching us our culture. Like, so we're Shakiri, which is a tribe in Nigeria. He's teaching us that, even though I feel like he fumbled a little bit, but I'm still working on that with him before, it's too late. Like, trying to get him to give us
Yeah.
all the knowledge so that we can then pass it on to our kids, because it'll die eventually if we don't
Yeah.
keep it
Mhm.
going. But yeah, I would consider him a gentle parent. He was the type of parent that'd be like, don't beat them. Like, but I don't remember what his alternative was because I always got beat. Like, you ain't offer no
It didn't
second
work.
thing,
Like, your mom was like, so yeah, anyways.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe that was the thing. Like, he didn't know what else to do. So he
Yeah.
just was like, I mean, I try to save y'all. Y'all need to listen.
Yeah.
I try to save you.
I feel like part of it is that at the time, like, especially because it's like not in the Bible, but it's in the Bible, like, spare the rod, spoil the child. So
Mhm.
a lot of our parents who grew up in that environment, like, probably took it literally and also were raised in that literal kind of sense. And then it also gets to a point where, like, I think for some parents, it was just the easier thing to do to discipline because you didn't have the time to like
Yes.
sit and talk or explore, or you didn't have the emotional or mental maturity at the time. Like,
Mhm.
I think a lot of our parents did the best that they could with what they knew and what they
Mm-hmm.
had at the time.
Mhm.
And like, I think my parents did a good job with the discipline because I didn't get beat a lot, but there was just certain transgressions, I would say, that were like beating worthy. And even when it was beating worthy, it was never like, oh, I'm going to beat you out of anger or anything like that. Like, maybe one time in my entire life do I think I got like a spanking out of anger. But for the most part, like, I was already told ahead of time that it would happen and I continued. So ergo, actions have consequences. I was made aware of the consequences. Therefore, I suffered the consequences.
Yeah.
But I think I had scheduled beatings, which I hated.
I
Like,
did too.
I hated being told, like, okay, well, you're on punishment. And on this day at this time, you're going to get your beating. Like,
Dang, a different day?
bruh, exactly.
Oh, no.
And then-
Mine were the same day. It was just like,
No.
When you get home.
yeah, when we get home.
No. Mines were like, you were on punishment, and then we're going to do a long walk to talk about what happened, why you
This
made
is
that
intense.
decision. And then once you come back in this house, so I'm like walking even slower, like,
Oh my god, I'd be under mental distress.
girl.
Yeah,
And then
sulking.
you are told how many licks you're going to get, and you're going to get every single one. It don't matter how hard you cry,
Yeah.
you wiggle, you scream. Like, that was the thing. Like, I appreciated it, and I think I would carry it on only in the sense of, I feel like the consequences should make sense or should correlate to whatever was done wrong. So I'm like, I understand why people say don't beat your kids, but I also feel like if it's something that has a physical consequence
Yes.
and they are warned ahead of time and they're made aware ahead of time, then consequences be consequences, kind of thing. But yeah, I don't think it's a first resort.
But is it a consequence or is it a punishment?
I was just
And-
gonna
That's
say
fair.
that.
That's fair. That's a fair thing. I feel like for me, it was. I got both though. So a consequence, I would say, in the sense of I knew ahead of time that was going to be a result of whatever decision I made. And then I was also punished in the sense of whatever, something was taken away, and I was left to like sit in. I don't know. I don't want to say like my decision, but like I had to review what I did and then talk through and understand and regurgitate back like what I learned from that situation.
Yeah.
Am I
In
not
my
explaining it?
mind, that is your consequence was where you had to sit and do that review.
Okay.
And yes, something was taken away, but the punishment became when it was like shame based. Like you're going to get a beating a different day so you can sit in that and feel that emotion and keep feeling that.
That's fair.
Like, and
I
you're
mean,
gonna
it's
dwell
similar-
in that.
it's similar to going on trial for something you know you did, and now you're serving your time.
Yeah.
So I can understand. I've never had to be like, I was gonna be a minute before I get this beating. It was usually soon after. I mean, once you get home, or
Yeah.
but it wasn't. Again, it wasn't out of anger. And I actually saw a reel that said that the whole spare the rod, spoil the child thing.
It's not as literal as people are taking it.
Yeah, and that I think the scenario they were giving is that basically when it was said, they were talking about a shepherd leading its sheep.
Yeah.
And you don't see shepherds beating their sheep. You see
Yeah,
them
guiding.
the
Mhm.
sheep to where it needs to go. So it's like, dang, y'all was just out here
Just
misquoting stuff.
Yo,
But it's fine.
consistently. But I don't know if it's right, but I wonder if that goes back to like the slavery, when they use the Bible to kind of brainwash and also continue to perpetuate that slavery mindset. I wonder if that was a part of that as well, because I feel like, I mean, we always see some of the remnants of like the impact of the Bible and slavery in the Black church today, with the whole like mentality of like suffering is like some kind of reward, like you're not supposed to enjoy life. Like there's still that kind of mentality in the church, or in some churches. So I really wonder if like that's also a part of it, if that was what was taught to us, and so therefore we continue to perpetuate that. And let's not even talk about the translating of the Bible. Like the misinformation started there. So whatever was started by the Roman Catholic Church when they translated it was moved here when people came here. And then when they had slavery, oh yeah, this is what is said. This is how God is. And this is why you need to be subservient. And this is why you're being punished. So yeah, I think that was a little tangent for me, but that really sparked that idea of like, maybe this is because of the perversion of the original text. And so that's why context does matter.
Yeah.
Because it makes it really changes the whole perspective of what we originally thought, to understand better when it's culturally appropriate. Like a shepherd and a rod makes more sense than you just saying like, y'all were beating y'all kids back in the day, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
But I get your point that the shame base of punishment is different from the consequence of an action. So that's definitely something to ponder as far as like, I think how we would like to approach raising kids. Because again, I don't think it should be the first, what do you call it? Like the first line of
Action.
Yeah. But that also requires, mental maturity and like really understanding how to speak to your child at whatever stage of life they're in, for them to comprehend like, this is good, this is bad, this is right, this is wrong. So how do you teach them that and help them understand that there are consequences, so that they learn how to avoid and also have that forethought to avoid?
Yeah. It's hard. Raising kids is hard, and I understand why people like jump to, if I give you a beating, you're gonna figure you gonna remember this. But I am not a beater of my kids. I threaten them all day, every day, but I don't follow through, because a lot of times they're more of, I'll be like, do you want to get popped? No. Then stop doing it. And they'll just stop doing it. Like, I feel like their dad probably pops them a lot when I'm not around. So they understand the concept. So it's not like it never happened, so they don't have anything to reference. They got a reference point. So they're like, I don't want that. But there are times where if it's serious enough and that's the punishment that we feel is necessary. It's never me. I can't do it. They're my babies. Like,
I get it. I get it.
And it's funny because I used to really beat other people's kids when I was a like babysitter. They'd be like, "Oh,
I was a babysitter."
If I don't have the authority to like spank your child, then I don't want to babysit.
Oh, I was beating people and my brothers. Like, because I used to get beat for them.
Oh
so
yeah, y'all like handing them out.
Shoot. Everybody getting beat, because they not gonna get beat by the person that's supposed to beat them. So I'm gonna make sure you feel it for me first, because I know I'm gonna get in trouble. But yeah, I just can't do it to my own children. But my husband, I think that's why he's their father, and I think that it's important for at least one of the parents to have the stricter grip
Yeah.
grip. Otherwise, because after it happens, they're gonna run to me, and I get to be the
Consoler.
comforter
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
the favorite parent, and I like that for myself. And I don't know. It is hard to like just teach kids concepts without the aggression
Yeah.
and managing your own emotions.
Yes.
We haven't learned.
Self-regulation.
Yes,
Especially when you didn't have
Learning that-
examples.
bruh.
Yeah.
Learning that because like my son was sick, and he gets very whiny. And I can't stand whining. And they're not normally whiny kids. So he's whining to tell me things. And I'm like, listen to me. Like, I cannot understand you when you're whining. It's like bothering me. And so he will whine a little bit more. And I will continue to just try to be calm and explain that I don't understand you because you're whining. So I need you to speak clearly. Calm down, speak clearly. And eventually he'll do it. And I'm like, it only took forever, but we got here.
We got there.
But some people would have just been like, go away from me and
Yeah.
da 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 da.
Yeah.
And now the kid is like, I can't talk to my parent.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
I don't feel comfortable coming to my parent when I feel sad or when I feel, any sort of emotions because they're gonna be angry. And I don't know. It's a hard process because you just watch kids sometimes. Sometimes I just laugh and they be like, why you laughing? Don't worry about it. Like, don't worry about it. Because there's a lot of things just going through my mind as I'm trying to parent. That's what be having me feeling grown. Having to parent seriously. Because I'd be like, is this a joke? How did my parents do this? I don't
Bruh.
know how they just, some of the things my kids say, I'm like, I just have to walk away and laugh. And my daughter is the queen of, it's not funny. Because I can't take these kids seriously. Hey, y'all, these are not serious conversations that I'm having right now. This is a joke.
With tiny adults. They're gonna be like grown. That's crazy. You look at them like, I was you and you're gonna be me. That's crazy.
Yes. It's
Mhm.
crazy. But yeah, just regulating, and it's a lot. The generational curses that we now have to then make sure we aren't passing down. And I think because we're in this woke generation, it puts pressure on us to do better.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. We're kind of forced to process what we experienced while also still participating in society
Yeah.
in a more knowledgeable way versus like just continuing how we probably what would be easier,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
that self-regulation requires self-reflection, and that's not always like easy.
Yeah.
Mhm. I think it's really, I'm glad that you brought up the thing about shame, because I was like gonna say, well, I know you mentioned this in the previous episode, but I think sometimes, like, that goes back to knowing your kids. When a consequence versus a punishment, some kids, like, the shame is what makes them not do it again. I think. I don't think it's a good thing, but
Yeah.
I think, like, when certain kids respond to that, like, I don't want to feel this feeling. Like, I guess, like, for me, I was a kid that my mom could yell at me, I would cry. I'm gonna go sit in the corner and I'm gonna cry and I'm gonna feel terrible about myself because I don't want to make mom upset. Like, I don't want to disappoint her. Whereas my sister, you can't tell her nothing. You're gonna have to whoop her. Like, you're gonna have to give her show her.
Yeah.
Show her that she needs to stop.
Yeah.
And she would just do it anyway. My sister's a rebel. But if, like, the shame, the me feeling so sad that I disappointed my mother, like, it could be anything. I touched the stove, I don't know. That was enough for me. And I think parents, like, they count on that. Like, if I make you feel bad, then it's terrible. But if I make you feel bad, you're not gonna do it again. Those feelings do stick with you long term
Yeah.
as adults.
Yeah.
And then you trying to break this generational curse with your children. But, like, I don't know how you separate it.
Yeah. Because for me, the shame, and honestly, the main thing that I used to get beat for was lying. And that's why I hardly lie now. Because I was shamed and beat, had lying beat and shamed out of me, essentially. Like, the last time I was in high school, probably the last time I got beat.
in high school.
You gonna be
Girl, you was a
For
whole.
lying? Why were you still lying? You don't be learning lessons. That's the real problem.
A little bit of that also, because I also get that determination from my parents. So let's also give them that credit as well. They are especially my dad, when he has his mind set on something, he gonna do it. And my mom is the same way. She don't care who is with her. If she want to do something, she gonna do it. and y'all gonna come along, and everybody's gonna enjoy it. So I got double doses of it. So if I really am like, I think also for me, maybe the shame has to be heavy enough for me not to do it again. Because I definitely had me some dairy yesterday, and I was like, dang, I forgot.
Here she goes.
I forgot my pill. And like middle of the night, I'm like, oh, my stomach. I didn't get sick, but I had stomach cramps that woke me up, and I'm like, dang, probably should have my dairy pill. But
more of a
I
consequence
was about to
than
say.
a punishment.
yeah, because I haven't had
though.
shame.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like, and I think also
We
it
need to start
depends.
yelling at her afterwards.
Y'all not gonna shame me. Because I know y'all gonna love me anyway. I got the security from y'all. I ain't worried about y'all.
We gotta be like, we not gonna be your friend no more. If you
Yeah.
gonna keep pooping.
Yeah.
Like, they would have abandoned me a long time ago.
Yo,
You
but-
got a different type though.
I know.
yeah, you do.
Yours be
mercy.
passing right through. We
I
be
know,
out
it be-
here
I
struggling.
know,
It
mine-
be
mine be
hours
instant.
later. Yeah,
You're
this
right.
man be
I'd
like,
be like,
You're right.
well, I'm gonna go.
but yeah, I definitely think for me, maybe the shame might be the only motivation that really helps me change, because consequences, it has to hurt me in some kind of way. Maybe monetarily. If it hurt me monetarily, maybe I would change. Or like physically altering, like I can't recuperate, change me. But if it's not a high impact, I'm gonna be like, I eat it. All right, next time.
Oh my gosh.
It's very interesting.
Yeah, so maybe that's what it is.
Well, how would you do? What do you? When it comes to a consequence versus a punishment, which do you think is more effective?
I don't know. I'm not about to play.
I mean, like
I would
For you,
for
me,
you. Yeah.
I didn't get beat like that growing up. I can only remember like a few times in my life where I was like beat. Did I see people get beat? Yes. Like when I went down
Dang,
to
that's
like
crazy.
yeah, like I went down to Mississippi and my cousin.
Ooh,
Yeah, that was a
they
whole
be
different
handing them
story.
joints out heavy
I
out
know.
there.
I was young. I went down Mississippi. I had my baseball glove. I was playing, and one of my cousins grabbed my glove and threw it in the pool. And then like my grandmother was like, "Go get your switch."
Yes,
And I
yo,
was like,
that Bible belt beatings
I
was
said,
crazy, and you better not pick
I
a thin
said,
one either.
"What she mean by go get your switch?"
Mm-hmm.
Not
then
you
he
know,
was like-
not knowing what it meant.
Oh, I did not. He walked over.
Come on, soft life.
He walked over to that fence. I said, "Oh," I was like, "Oh, you picking a vine like from the fence?" He picked that thing up. I started crying. My dad came over there like, "Sean, it's okay," and I was like, "Oh, he about to get beat with this vine from the fence that he had to pick out himself." I was like, "So you trying to find a dull one?" I'm like, "What is happening?"
and he would have got beat worse if he brought that back to
And then,
Grwn.
like, I was like, like my dad was like, "We gotta remove Sean," and then they were like, "No, he needs to watch this. Like he did this to him." I was like,
Not the
no,
trauma.
No. Why am I being punished now? Like I gotta watch this. I'm crying more than him. Like, so yeah,
Not the
like,
trauma,
that would have happened to me. So
bro. That is
Like,
still
I think
trauma.
That's enough for
Yeah,
me.
I
to
was
like-
do it.
nah, I don't need to deal with that. Like for what? That don't gotta be my life. Like,
I was one of them kids who were like, dang, that's crazy. Probably shouldn't have
Still
did
do
that.
it.
yeah, but yeah, that was just not. I don't know. I'd definitely be a consequence person. Like I won't be a punishment person. I don't think
Yeah.
we'll have a punishment. I mean, like it's just hard because there's like it's hard defining the two. I
Yeah.
feel it's
Separating
just
it.
like
Yeah.
knowing that one is very shame based. You're trying to make someone feel bad or like feel like less of a person or something like that. Like a beating to make you feel, like you don't have to beat somebody for that. Like you
That's
can
fair.
give them a consequence, where up front, like, yes, you can take away things that is a reasonable thing. I mean, that's a consequence. Like, okay, you didn't come home late. I mean, or you didn't come home at the time that you said, now you can't go out. Like, you have to earn this back
Yeah.
versus, like, you didn't come home, I'm going to beat you.
Not beating a grown person that can drive.
Well,
Oh my
I don't know. Well,
God.
girl, you were just in high school getting beat
Yeah.
for
yeah.
lying.
Also, I mean, I didn't get to drive till I was in my 20s, but also, yes. But
Yeah.
I mean, again, I was lying. Like, lying can, yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's also like intention.
yeah.
Having somebody, okay, we're going to take a second to cool down versus having somebody go stand in this corner and look at the wall. I mean, I feel like the intention is different. Like, because one, you're having them like, all right, we're going to collect our thoughts and we're going to reevaluate in a few, versus now I'm going to have you feel embarrassed looking at a corner
Staring
of a
at
house.
wall.
You know, like,
Yeah.
and it might, like, when I was
But
young,
how would you cool them down otherwise?
I think you can separate them from something that's happening. Like, you can go to your room and cool down versus something that's like an embarrassing thing.
Mm.
Like,
I
if that
think-
makes sense. Like, that's why I said I think it's just intention based.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think the only issue with sending kids to their room is
As an
they
example.
have everything in there.
Yeah.
So you could send them, maybe you have an empty room is the same thing as looking at a wall. Sometimes because I do the go stand over there and
Get
figure
yourself
out,
together.
get yourself together
Yeah.
and then come back when you're ready. But it's not I don't like say, don't move until I tell you to. I say, come back when you are ready
Yeah.
to basically listen to what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's like, I'm ready. Or sometimes it's, especially my son.
Oh yeah, big.
He be standing. I did it. I don't
10
care.
toes down.
I don't care what y'all. I don't want to say sorry.
Tell mommy, tell daddy, tell grandma, tell everybody.
But I feel like everything that you said there was like intention based though. You know, it was never like to make them feel like less.
Yeah, I mean, but do you feel like people are actually in their mind saying, I want to make you feel less, go do this, or I'm going to make you. I think that parents, a lot of times when they're doing it, they are doing it out of, I'm trying to teach you something.
Yeah.
I think
I want you to reflect.
I
Yeah.
think there are parents that do things to embarrass their children.
No,
Okay,
yes.
okay.
Because
do.
I've seen, like this whole, well, of course with social media, parents like posting like them punishing their kids and like telling everybody this is what they did. Now look at you. Now look at you. Like, yes.
Yeah.
In those cases, yes. But I do think I think what you're saying, it does make sense that it's just like, I want you to reflect. And so what does reflection look like?
Mhm.
We're removing the distractions. So you go into your room, that's
Yeah,
not a reflection time.
You're not going to think about anything.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So take some time to yourself, gather yourself, compose yourself. So in a sense, it's teaching them self-regulation, but you're not giving them like, the instructions or the tools on how to self-regulate. And maybe they don't have the verbiage or the understanding to do that yet. I think it just depends. But the punishments aren't always immediately, or at least to me, immediately like based in shame. But I know for me, unfortunately, sometimes shame is a little bit of a motivator.
I feel like
But I feel like the shame is never like my parents are putting that shame on me. Well, no, I'm not say never, but I feel like when they did it, it wasn't for them to shame me. It was just like, we really want you to understand like the impact of words and the impact of what not having, not telling the truth can have.
Mhm.
And like, this is it may be a small lie, it may be a big lie. Regardless, it's a lie. And no matter where you go in life, if you get caught in a lie, you can be in a lot of trouble. A lie can get you killed. A lie can get you in jail. A lie can get you in situations that you would never imagine yourself in. So rather than be in a situation where you have to keep lying, let's start with the truth. So in order to do that, they had to help me understand like how shameful lying is. Like there's no let me not say value, but there's just no virtue.
Mhm.
There's no integrity in lying.
I will say though, I think, if I'm being honest, I don't think a lot of parents are being that philosophical or thinking that deep. I think
That's
some
fair,
of them,
yeah.
I feel like some of them really are just projecting what was done to them. And I think a lot of it too. And I think about that because I'm like, sometimes in my interactions with family members, like they'll do something or make me feel away. I like to like sit and really like think about my feelings sometimes. And I'll be like, I feel like the things that you're saying to me right now, or the things that you're like, we're having a back and forth and you're trying to make me feel away. We're using whatever kind of technique, whether it's manipulation, whether it's this, whether it's that. And I've seen this done to you, and you tell me that you don't like this done to you, but you are doing it, maybe
Girl.
subconsciously.
Mhm.
You like, we don't know. It could be because this has happened to you. It could be because this is all you know. It's because it's things you've seen. But I genuinely, like, I feel like in moments, like at least for like with my, like I talk to my friends, like our parents and like people I've just in general talked to, it's like they do it without thinking about it. It's like that. Get out of my face and go upstairs.
Mhm.
That's so natural, like because that's something that they have experienced,
Mhm.
or they don't have, like you said, like the mental capacity. I can't tolerate you right now. You need to go upstairs. Not even realizing what impact that might have, or
Mhm.
even
Mhm.
the opposite. I think how gentle parenting was like born. I don't know the real stats, but it's like people are trying to actually think before they talk to their kids, and
Yeah.
like, hey, instead, like you're crying in my face right now. I can't the whining. I'm also like, I can't tolerate it. Like, if you're gonna stand here and whine, how about you go sit on the beanbag and go calm down, come back. I want to understand you. So let's do that. That's me giving myself time to think about what I need to communicate and what I want to get out of my child, as opposed to me just saying like, you're bothering me, get out of my face. Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
that kind of response, I feel like not no parent, because some parents do, but I think that a lot of parents just react based on what they know,
Yeah.
and they only know what
Yeah.
their parents have done for them.
Yeah, that's fair. But to be, well, I know it's not to say devil's advocate, but I think also on the other extreme with the gentle parenting, I also feel like there's some parents who don't really like have consequences to actions, and they think they're doing a service to their child by
Mhm.
not serving consequences or helping them understand that actions have consequences and they can be good or bad. And so I think we always there it's a delicate balance,
Yeah.
and it's going to differ, I think, kid to kid too,
Yeah, I
because
agree.
just like for me, in some senses, like shame is motivating because I want to be a person of integrity. I want to be a person that is trustworthy.
Mhm.
If I'm made to feel like, oh my goodness, like I really didn't do something well, like I'm really not living up to the standard that I want to be at, then I'm more likely to make a change than, oh, that hurt. I can figure out a way, like, or oh, nah, I'll build up a tolerance to the pain. You know, like I think that's kind of where I'm at, where it's just like I think both sides can be right,
Yes.
but there are extremes on both ends, and it's just I won't really know until I have my kid and like get to experience a little more of their personality.
Mhm.
But I do
Mhm.
think in the vein of like they're doing what their parents did to them, allowing them to have that opportunity to express themselves, I think is a big part of it, and not try to like craft their personality into what would make my life easier as a
Yes.
parent.
Yeah.
I think that's a large part of it, because it's definitely more so like, what was it, one video going around about like parents are different people with different, like, especially when there's like large gaps in like the kids' ages, they're like,
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
you had a different parent than this sibling,
Yep.
and this sibling had a different parent, and it's just like, because we're also growing as people. So
Mhm.
yeah, I think it's just being mindful of like not extinguishing their spirit or their personality, but still providing them with the structure and balance of how the world works.